Hey guys, it's LA, and we are back with another can't miss episode. But before I jump in, I want to mention that I just released my new book, Chronic Physique, The Resilient Blueprint. It's now on Amazon. There are two books. One is the book itself, and the other is the interactive workbook. I just held my first in-person seminar in Ohio, and the engagement and connection between the guys was amazing. We asked ourselves important questions that gave us clarity and direction on how we want to live our lives full of intentionality, impact, growth, and resiliency. We even dove into social media tips and how to properly tell your story for the most impact. But today's episode is something deeply personal, long overdue, and truly powerful. We are shifting the spotlight, not to the patients, not to the providers, but to the fathers. When your child is diagnosed with hemophilia, the whole family feels it. But for dads, we're expected to be strong, stable, the rock. But what happens when the rock starts to crack? Our guest today is Heber Ramos, a father who's walked through the pain, fear, and mental toll of raising a child with hemophilia, a man who's battled the weight of uncertainty, marital strain, and even found himself turning to alcohol to escape the emotional chaos. This conversation is going to be raw, it's real, and it's for every dad out there who's ever felt alone in the storm. Let's discover what kind of father our kids with hemophilia truly needs us to be. Today's quote for the show is, "A father's strength is not how much he can carry, but how much he can feel and still keep going." Heber, welcome to the Hemo Life podcast. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your son. What's his name? How old is he? And what type of hemophilia does he have?
Oh, man, what's up, LA? Thanks again, man. Congratulations on the book. First of all, bro, so phenomenal.
Thank you.
Everybody needs to cop one, bro. I'll be copying myself a few as well. So, congrats.
I appreciate it, man. I love it. I'm super excited.
Yeah, man. I'm happy. I'm excited for you, man. But appreciate you having me on the show. I am really excited for this too. Long overdue. That advocacy is really important. As you said, my name is Heber Ramos. I am from a small town called Ruidoso, New Mexico, about 2 hours north of El Paso, Texas, where I reside now. Okay, my son is 12. Well, about to be 13. His name is Zayden Ramos. He's actually diagnosed with hemophilia B severe. It's been a battle. It's been, since he was born. Not only that, he was born with bilateral club feet. So it was a struggle from the get-go, man, right when he came out the womb, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But other than that, we have an older son named Xavier. He's 15 years old. He was my oldest one. He actually got that lucky side of the lucky straw of the straw, you know what I mean? The lucky straw. Yeah. And it's one of those things that we never knew what hemophilia was, so. Yeah, I got two boys.
Man. Yeah. So what about you? What do you like to do for fun? I know we have the riding motorcycles in common.
Yeah, that's we'll get to that.
That's your thing. I know. I'm always watching you and living. I used to just live through you. I was like, man, I'm going to live through him. But now I got myself my own Harley.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm happy. Hey, it's a nice bike too, bro. It's a bike ram. Motorcycles has been, as we'll talk about it a little bit, getting on my bike. And I used to ride years ago, back when I was younger, I'm 40. Going on 41 in a couple months. It's one of those things that back then in my younger days, I wasn't as responsible as I am today. But riding bikes, man, a lot of people don't understand it. It was my escape from my anxiety, when I was an alcoholic and breaking my habits, my anxiety when I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, severe depression. Never in my life, LA, that I knew I was depressed. Never once ever, bro. I had a thought that I was depressed. Until I was trying to find my way out and trying to better myself. And I actually seek professional help. And they were telling me, yeah, you're really depressed all the time. I'm like, no way, you crazy. I was just, nah. But alcohol it was bad, man. I was trapped for a bit.
We're going to jump into that for sure.
Yeah.
So let's rewind the clock a bit. What was life like before the diagnosis? What do you remember about that chapter?
Man, before diagnosis?
Yeah, before the diagnosis.
Man, life was...
Like, how old were you when you got married?
Well, we've never really got married. We were never really married.
Oh, okay.
We were together for...
Okay.
All this is 14 years. I mean, we've been separated now, going on 3 years.
Okay. So
give or take, I mean, we were engaged, we were engaged. But life was good, man. I'm not gonna complain. I had a little bit of struggles going on legally, but I mean, the mother of my ex was she was a strong foundation, bro. Don't get me wrong. She was an amazing woman. We hit the battle together. She never really met her father. She was only 6-7 months old when her father passed away. He was a brain hemorrhage, bad blood. I think he had HIV. He was one of the bad inflected with the bad blood. back in the days, you know. So he
Gotcha.
struggled, but her mother was his caregiver. So she never really got to meet him. But down the road, life was good, man. Like life was amazing. She was pregnant. We knew there was a possibility of what hemophilia was, but being from a small town,
Mm-hmm.
LA, we have a family doc, you know, the same doctor everyone goes to. You know, her name was Dr. Brown. And once she was pregnant with our older son, Xavier, you know, we did the follow-ups. You know, he was born. We didn't know a darn thing about hemophilia. We just knew it was about blood.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cut yourself, you bleed out, you know. So there was really we just didn't know anything. You know, we try to Google some stuff and we try to get knowledgeable, but we trusted our doctors, you know, or as we're supposed to. You know, these doctors are professionals. They go to school, pay so much money, and so yada, yada, yada. So we did that. And, you know, our oldest son, our doctor told us that we had to wait till he was 6 months to test his blood, to test to see if he's a hemophilia or not. So we did that. You know, what I know now, it's crazy that we could have done that while he was in the womb or when he was born, you know. But we did what our doctor told us because we didn't know anything. Nobody around us knew. We didn't know any hemophiliacs. We just was so rare in a small town. So sure enough, man, we did that. 6 months later, we came back. 2 weeks, we got a call that his blood count was good. He was not a hemophiliac. So we just lived life, bro. We didn't bother it. You know, you play sports. You know, I coach baseball. I coach flag football. You know, I was into baseball myself and playing softball. You know, just doing things.
All right. So when you got the news, do you remember the moment, like what the emotions felt like? Was there fear, guilt, confusion?
Man, it was all three. It was all three, bro. It was the day we found out was the day my life changed that day. Like they did a whole 360, man. It was like I mentioned, my son was born bilateral club feet, so both of his feet were twisted bad in. Like he could literally be walking on top of his feet if you want to put a mental picture on it. But we knew that from the ultrasounds, you know, we knew that was possible. So my ex was already dreading that. Oh my God, he's not going to be able to walk. He's not going to be able to run, you know, but man, to this day, you can see him running and play baseball and flag football and he's playing basketball now, which I haven't got the chance to do yet. But man, he's running all over. You'll never know. He was born with bilateral club feet. So when that happened, man, awesome. He was born, I think his second week of being in the world. Yeah, the second week, we went to Albuquerque, New Mexico to our UNM hospital. It was there was a hospital called Kerry Tingley. So they put him in little leg castings, bro. He had little casting for his ankles, right? So every week we had to drive up 3 hours there, 3 hours back home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So they had to change him out every week for about a month and a half, I believe, or almost close to 2 months, if I remember. And that was because that was a procedure of being clap feet. So they would recast his leg, his feet, and they were small little casts. You know, he was a baby. He was real small.
Yeah.
And every week, man, they would cut him off, put new cast on, another week, back on, another week. It got tiring. So the last week that we had to do it, bro, we went up. It was like I want to say mid-October, give or take, because he was born in September. It was on Halloween anyhow. The last casting, bro, they had a procedure. It's not a cut, but it was a poke of the Achilles tendon to give it more flexibility for the last casting. And we were like, we didn't, you know, he's already been born. We didn't, just like my older son, we were going to wait 6 months to get him tested again, his blood, to see if it's a hemophilia, because that's what we did with our older son. We didn't know any better. You know, we didn't reach out to nobody. We didn't know anything about hemophilia still. Eligible. We had no resources, nobody. That day, Mrs. Dr. Silva, she explained to us, it's just a small poke, a poke, bro. You know what you do, like, when do people do the diabetes checks, you know, they do a little poke. Yeah. Plus, man, right behind the ankle where the Achilles tendon is to give him more flexibility. And we're like, okay, let's do it. You know, I mean, he needs it, so we can't say no. So sure enough, man, we're like, well, he might bleed or he might not bleed, but we were taking that chance. So he ended up poking both of his ankles. And I kid you not, LA, like I was so happy because there was like a couple drops of blood, but they were putting pressure and they would let go, and we were waiting. And we were waiting I'm thinking, oh, blood's going to start oozing if he's a hemophiliac.
Yeah.
I feel like blood was just going to flow right out. Nah, man, nothing came out. There's just a couple drops, like little droplets of red blood. We're like, cool. Like maybe he's not a hemophilia like his older brother. So me and my ex looked at each other, and then we go ahead and decide to put the castings on, bro. And life got crazy a little bit after that.
Yeah. So like, how did they ultimately like find out like, oh man, like we need to test him for hemophilia?
Well, the reason we found out he was diagnosed that day, bro, is because we put the castings on, right? He didn't bleed at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was no blood.
Yeah.
I mean, he bled, but it wasn't like a constant bleed where it was just not stopping.
Yeah.
Like,
well, usually, I mean, I don't feel like, I feel like we bleed out a little bit more than an average person, but it's more of like the internal bleeding from like my personal
for
experience.
you, okay, I see, I get it. Well, go figure, man. My baby, he's small. He's a small one. Put the castings
Mm-hmm.
on, and we're feeling good. Like maybe he's not hemophiliac. So we took that opportunity. We took that chance. So for some reason, LA, that day, man, we always drive back home because it's a work day. You know, I got to get back. At the time, I had my own local business of detailing, and I had to get back to work. 3 hour
Yeah.
there, 3 hour drive back. It just gets tiring. But for some reason that day, man, we decided to go have lunch. You know, we stopped. It was like close to like 11, 12-ish. We went to this little Mexican restaurant, right up the road a little bit, not too far from there. And we're sitting down, and it's cold, man. It's pretty chilly outside, you know. I had a little 4-door Honda Civic, 4-door, and he's in his. We got him. Well, we got him. We got both my kids. We're up there. We go in. We sit down at the table, bro. They seat us. We get our drinks. And my son he's a newborn, and we're still like, he wasn't pouting, he wasn't crying. It was like time for him to get his bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was just, something just didn't seem right to me, bro. And I look down and I see around his lips right here, just looked a little darker than normal, like little blackish.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? So he was wrapped up in his blanket, right? So I take the blanket off of him, bro, and his cast, bro, they're white as paper when they put it on. And
Yeah.
when I took that blanket off, bro, they were as dark as my hat. They were black. The whole entire cast was just solid black color, bro. And I already knew what it was. So by the time they put the cast on, by the time we drove there, waited to get out of the hospital, did paperwork, got in the car, drove to the location, to the restaurant, sat down, waited a little bit. By the time I did all that, bro, I already knew what it was. And I constantly jump up. I remember throwing some money on the table. And I told my ex, Angie, let's go, man, let's go. And she freaked out because she already knew what it was too. And he was small. He was a baby, man. And we hauled butt, dude. She jumped in the back. I jumped in the front. I remember getting in the car, bro. She's on the phone calling 911, calling the doctors, trying to get to the hospital. And I'm driving like a maniac, bro. And I mean, like, I'm driving down on the wrong side of the street. I'm running red lights. I literally almost like a movie. I was just trying to get back to where we were at. I really kind of blacked out a little bit, bro. I remember driving like an idiot. Thank God I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I was so afraid. I was so scared that my son, he was basically just, he bled for so long and he was so small, you know what I mean? So he didn't have much blood already.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've always wondered what it would feel like to be a father of a hemophiliac. You know, going through everything I've gone through on my own. I just couldn't imagine, you know, looking at your helpless baby going through that and those emotions and what that feels like.
Yeah, it was scary things, bro, you know. And us being a father, bro, we're supposed to protect our kids and keep them safe, you know, but hemophilia doesn't take that. We don't have that luxury in this bleeding disorder. You know, we don't have that luxury like you just said, bro. You had to take care of yourself and only for you and yourself. And my son, you know, he's going to be in your shoes too, where he has to take care of himself one day.
Yeah.
But once we got there, man.
So what kind of how did they administer the medication to him at that age?
Well, once we got there, bro, to the hospital, there was a team waiting for us, and they grabbed him and hauled butt to him. We hauled in and they cut off the cast, and they didn't know what to do, man. They didn't know what to do. They knew they had to get it. They had to find a vein. Curie Tingley was kind of like a quarter mile away from UNM hospital where there's a hematologist there. So they rushed him to the big hospital, straight to the ER. And by the time they cut the cast off, bro, there was a nurse there, a guy nurse. He was squeezing his ankles, just squeezing them just to keep pressure. You know what I mean? That way no blood was coming out. We went to the ER and, like I said, he bled so much. They were having trouble trying to hit a vein. They couldn't find any veins at all, bro. Like,
I bet that'd be hard.
Like at all. Like he bled for almost probably 2.5 to 3 hours maybe. And it's been a while since I had to remember this day, bro.
Yeah, man.
Being in the ER room, bro, they were taking turns the nurses were taking turns of grabbing his ankles. They wouldn't let go for dear life. I mean, the paws of the hands of the nurses were white because they were squeezing so hard, you know, and
Wow.
they were sticking my son. He got stuck, I want to say close to 15, 20 times, bro. They stuck him in the arms, left arm, right arm, in the hands. They try to hit, somewhere in the leg. They try to hit his head. You know, they try to find a vein. They were just trying to find a vein, bro, and they couldn't because he was so small and he bled. And
was he just like screaming and like moving around a lot too?
To be honest, bro, he really was dead to me. He was motionless, bro. He wasn't screaming. He was screaming for a little bit, and he was just laying there, bro. He was just laying there,
wow,
no pain. His face was white. His lips were purple.
It gives me chills. I literally have chills just thinking about what that would feel like in that moment.
I got the goosebumps too, man. But they were taking turns, man, and they brought this X-ray machine. I remember they brought this X-ray machine that specializes for veins. They found one, but they didn't want to try because it was too small. It was too faint. So they kept trying, bro. Kept trying, poking, and like they had different nurses, people that take care of the baby doctors come up from their baby room, and you know, I really thought we were losing him, bro. Like we just got him in the world, you know, and we're in this room of despair and grief, and like you said about guilt, I was so guilty to myself because I brought this man into this world.
Yeah,
like he didn't have opportunity to fight, you know what I mean, and that day, bro, I wasn't really religious as I am today. You know, I believe in my higher God. I remember putting my head down, bro, and I put my head down and I was sitting next to my ex, and her sister, Jamie, was next to her. And I just talked to God, man. I prayed and I asked God, you know, I told God, just, hey, man, just take my life, you know, let me switch my life to my son. You know, don't take him yet. Like, you know, I already had an opportunity to live a little bit of a life, you know, let my son live. I'm bleeding. I'm just bleeding, bro. I'm like, just please, God, just don't take him. Please give him a chance. Give him a chance, please. And keep praying, bro. And his room is so quiet. And this short, chubby lady walks in red scrubs and with the biggest smile, grin you've ever, like, she just won the lottery, bro. She walks in this ER room, bro, and big smile. She washes her hands. She looks at my son and she's like, oh, he's such a cute baby. He's such a cute baby. And I'm looking at this lady like she's either like, really? Like, I'm thinking negative, you know? My son's, and she's over here cheering him on like I don't know who this lady was. So she puts on her gloves and she starts rubbing my son's head. So all these doctors, all these nurses poke my son all over the place, all over his body with no hesitation. She grabs his head, gets the needle, bro, sticks the needle inside of his left side of his head, and draws back blood. Bro.
Wow.
That's crazy. Bro, it was insane. It was one of those things that as soon as, you know, when doctors, when they take your blood out, test, and they put in the little tubes, they literally, once she got that blood, that little bit of blood, and the reason they had to get blood from him because he know that he needed blood, so we didn't know what type of blood he had. Well, I'm over here.
I see.
Before all that, I'm talking crap to the nurses. Like, if you need blood, get the blood from his ankle. And I don't know. I'm not educated. Yeah. I didn't know once blood hit, it contaminates the blood. You know, I don't know this stuff. So, I'm talking crap. I'm mad. But this lady, man, I bet. She got the needle out of his head. And a nurse grabbed that bare needle, bro. The bare needle. They didn't put in no blood in a tube and took off running out the room, dude. Like, with the needle in his hand. Dang. They came back within, I want to say, 10 minutes. And then they knew what his blood was. And they were talking to us what blood they needed. And I was like, well, shoot, just take my blood. But they're like, no, there was not enough time. So I'm arguing because I don't know this stuff. I don't know how this stuff works. So sure enough, man, I'm like, and I'm thinking about her dad. Like, what if he gets sick? What if he catches HIV? What if he catches some disease? I'm over here thinking negative again. Yeah. So I ended up just letting him do it, bro. And they get his blood, and then they keep the IV and they give him his blood, bro. He gets slowly they start filling up his blood, and I can tell you, man, this lady. I can see her right now and picture you, bro. I can see exactly what she looked like. And they say whoever donated that blood, that's another reason why I got into this advocating. Because also the importance of blood donations is whoever's blood that was, man, whoever donated that blood saved my son. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it. Yeah. So, bro, it got to, man, I just got chills. So my son gets his blood, bro. And that's it. He's a hemophiliac. That's it. You know, we met Dr. Abraham. So that's the start of the journey. That was it, bro. And that day was the most craziest day of my life. And it turned my life around. You know, it opened up my eyes.
Did that moment kind of help you like build and you like on the faith that that you have now? Like, basically in those moments, I guess you just feel helpless and you have no choice but to just seek a higher power and just have faith that God's going to pull them through.
That day, bro, I know there was a God, man. God was real. God.
I appreciate you being vulnerable, brother. We need this.
Yeah, we were, once we got upstairs and got us a room, right? The following morning, I told Angeli, I was like, damn, I never got to tell that nurse, thank you. So
Yeah.
I went down and talked to the people that were in the ER with us in the room, and you could probably find her at this level. So I went to floor 4 where all the babies are at, right?
Yeah.
I go and talk to the nurses there, and I was like, yeah, I'm trying to find this lady. She's short. She had a short little hair above her shoulders. She was wearing a little short, chubby red scrubs. And these people were like, what? And they're like, we don't, like, literally, bro, I was like arguing, like, yeah, she works in this floor. She works with the babies. And bro, everyone thought I was crazy. And they're like, we don't have anybody like that. Like, not even, no one's short at all. Like you're describing, like these, yeah, bro. Even the doctors. So I go back downstairs and talk to the doctor. And I'm like, are you sure it's the right floor? They're like, sure. That's where she came from. That's what they knew. And everybody saw this nurse, bro. I went to every floor of the UNM hospital, the ones I was allowed to go. And till this day, LA, till this day, my man, it's a mystery. I really believe in my heart at heart. God, that was an angel that saved my son's life, bro.
Wow, man. Bro, stop with this. Look, freaking chills everywhere. Come on.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Dang, this is crazy. Yeah.
I knew God came and God sent his angels, bro. And,
yeah.
Angela, my ex, she always said it was her dad. She always had this.
Yeah.
Even though she really didn't know him, but she always said that her dad was always there to watch over her grandson, hemophiliac.
Yeah.
And to this day, bro, my faith grew that day.
Yeah.
I knew there was it was a higher being, bro. And God is good and does good. And
man.
Even though in the moments of my life, bro, God showed me himself in a way and saved my life. And he also saved my son. I mean, I know we'll talk about him a little bit, but the man I am today in front of you, LA, I wasn't this man 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, but
yes, same here, brother. I've had a lot to overcome myself, and I'm standing here as a new man who been through so many trials and so many situations where I thought I would just never make it through. Hated who I was, hated the cards that I was dealt, but God over the years constantly shows himself to me and helps me find a way through. And through all the trials, I finally been able to change my mindset and perspective that, like God's always going to be there for me. So anything that somebody throws my way, it's like, okay, this sucks. This is not good, but what else can a man do to me that hasn't already happened to me? And that's what gives me my confidence now, is just like, unless you shoot me and kill me, then, I'm getting back up. I'm going to keep on fighting.
Like, yeah, bro. And that's where we got to, man. But yeah, and I totally feel you, bro. I think that's why I respect you, because I know you had some hard times going through. And I mean, I don't know your personal stuff, but I knew some, but not really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we have.
Well, I grew up so like angry. I think because of my disorder, I was so angry. But no, I didn't really have a mentor, anybody there, no one to look up to. And everyone who saw these outbursts that I was having as a child, they just looked at it as I just had a problem, like a personality problem. And, looking back at, being who I am now and looking back, I see a lost kid, and he just needed someone. He needed a role model. He needed someone to see the pain that I was going through. When you're a kid, you have no idea. Like, it's like, you have a disorder. That's what people are telling you, but you just don't understand it. You don't know the science behind it. You don't know why you're feeling the way you feel mentally, physically. And then just the toll of the pain every single day, bleed after bleed, it just gets overwhelming. And I remember being a kid at one point, just like thinking, okay, well, maybe if I just keep on punching myself in the head, then maybe I'll just die and I can end all of this. And that's why I become the person I've became today, is because I just told myself, it would be worth living if I could just become the man that I wish I would have had in my life at that point. If I can be that for the next generation of kids growing up, then that's the legacy that I want to leave behind. That's the impact that I want to have. And that's what drives me. It's funny because I work in the industry, and we'll be sitting down with different patients, and I'll have people, because I'm in a sales role.
Yeah.
And I'll have people afterwards be like, man, you sounded so genuine when you're talking to these people. Like, that's a really good skill. I'm like, bro, it's because I am.
There you go.
It's like, yes, I have to make a living for myself. Dude, that comes last. Impact is what that's always been the root of my journey, and it will always be that way. So if I sound genuine, it's because I am. I really do care. It's not about anything else. So, but yeah, man, you're a real one too, and I can tell that. I know you've been through some stuff. We don't have to go deep into that stuff, but I've got a crazy past too.
And I think men like us, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know men like us.
No, you're good.
That got a pass like that, a hard pass, because like you said, I also grew up with a lot of anger. I didn't grow up with love.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with, my dad was an alcoholic. My mother was an alcoholic / addicted gambler.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a role model either. My role model was my big bros that were like 5-6 years older than me. You know what I mean? And I was like this skinny kid, and I was always getting picked on. And so I learned how to be who I was, man, fast, without a father figure. I love my pops to this day, but I never had that growing up.
Yeah.
I never had love, so when I became a father, and that's my fault where I felt that guilt, like you asked earlier. Yeah, I'm guilty. I wish I love my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved them. But, this hemophilia it changes your life and all around. Like for me, bro, when Zayden was born, I did treat him a little bit different than I did Xavier. I did show him care to him. I did give him more time than I did my older son. It's just because it was just about him. I cared. I love both my kids, but I did favor him. I did.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have, and I messed up by doing that. So it was hard for me to understand that. But at the time, to me, I thought I was doing right. You know what I mean? But I wasn't, bro. I didn't know what my son was going through. My older son needed more love too. He needed more attention. Don't get me wrong. I gave it to him. But just as I was his little brother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I totally understand.
Father, man, I messed up, and I missed a couple parents, and they do favor the hemophilia child more. I've met kids, siblings, like at summer camp, kid camps, or even at conferences where we go to, like, and it's true, man. It's just the way it is. But
it's hard not to, I guess. I've always been curious about my brother's perspective. I know growing up, he would always get in trouble for, playing with me too rough. He probably feels like I got all the attention for sure. But I guess it's kind of hard to navigate as a parent on how protective to be and how much extra attention that child might need. But let me ask you, so you've been pretty upfront about the toll that this has taken on your relationship. What was the hardest part about navigating hemophilia as a couple?
The hardest part about it, we were two hard-headed people. It was either my way or the highway. I'm the man, I'm the muscular, I'm the protector, I'm the provider. But in those times, I always thought I knew more. I never really listened to her. I never gave her that benefit of that I was wrong. I was really prideful, LA. I was really, really prideful. And not only because it's just the way I grew up, man. And me, I worked everything I've had is my two hands. I've never had nothing given to me, and never had nothing served to me on a silver platter. Grew up poor, never had that luxury, and I'm glad.
Did you feel some kind of pressure to like always have it together to be the strong one for your family?
And I had to, bro. We're like us Latino Hispanics, that's the heritage. We don't fold. You know what I'm saying? We hold our ground and we push forward. But the time I was holding the ground, I was holding it for my selfish ways. I wasn't letting anyone come between us. I was really like my pridefulness. Now that I'm not at the time, now that I see things the way I do now, I'm such an idiot, bro. Forgive me. I'm an idiot. And, do I regret it? No, but it was hard for me and her because her family will always try to get in, and they wouldn't try to, like me, the way I see things, I pressured her a lot was, if your family really cared about our son, how come they don't try to be like in our lives for his life? How come they don't try to be part of it? How come they don't help us out? Like, it was rough, man. Like, I wasn't going to put this on anyone's plate. I wasn't going to put that on anyone's, like say, for example, if we needed something to go out, we needed a babysitter, or we needed anything that we couldn't take him with us. Like, we didn't trust anybody, bro. I didn't trust nobody unless they knew what they were doing. And it was hard for me because she would trust her family. She would trust her mother or her sister or her cousin. I didn't trust them. I didn't trust nobody, bro.
Yeah.
To leave my son, I always had mentality like, you hurt my son, I'm going to hurt you tenfold. That was my mentality. So I was really hovered over him, where I didn't let nobody in. But then again, nobody was trying to come in because they knew they didn't want that responsibility of something happening to my son. Makes sense? And things happen, man. Like the craziest one was he was, I want to say he was a good probably 3.5 years old, bro. 4 years old. We're living in this condo, and him and his older brother were playing soccer, just kicking the ball around. At the time, I had a red Integra, old school Integra, slammed to the ground, turbocharged.
Nice.
And I was going to the store, bro, and there's my kids are smart. They know what to do. They see a car, jump in the car, they run to the front.
Yeah.
Well, I jump in my car, man, and I see my older son in front of the car. So I'm thinking, okay, Zayden's next to him. I turn my car on, bro. My music's a little loud, and put my car in reverse, and it was a 5-speed. And by the time I let the clutch out slowly to reverse, feel this dump, like what the heck? I just feel like something. I felt my car it hit something. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
And they left the bike behind my car, or a tricycle, or the little scooter. So I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm like, okay, here we go again. I told them many times not to. I ran over like their bike twice. You know what I mean? So I was like, stop behind my car. And I jump out of the car, LA, and all I hear is this high pitched scream, bro. I don't know where it's coming from. I just hear this just yelling, screaming. And I look behind me, bro, and I open up the door, and I see my son's feet.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know what to think, bro. I really stood there like I couldn't move, bro. I was frozen. And by the time I came to it, bro, I ended up pulling my son. My car was lowered. I pull him out, man, and his whole left side, his left side of his face is just black and red and blood, and his ear, and when you scrape your knee or something, or your elbow, the skin peels back. All his whole, I ripped the whole left side, like literally just skinned him, bro. It was all black. And the asphalt and the exhaust of the bottom of the car. I pull him out, bro, and I hold him, and I'm screaming, bro. And my neighbor lived a little bit down on the condo. He was out there washing his truck, and he runs up, and I'm holding him in my hands, and I don't know what to do. I'm like, what the hell did I just ran over my son. I just ran him over, bro, and he's screaming. He's bleeding, bro. It's just a crazy sight. And I run inside, and I'm yelling for Angeli, and she was downstairs. She comes up freaking out, and she freaked out, and we didn't know what to do, bro. It was just, I was in shock. And thank God my neighbor came up. His name is Ray. He started I got him. Let me see him. Get him here. I got him. Go to the hospital. And he's telling me what to do, and get in the car. And she jumps in the car, bro, and he doesn't go with her, or I think he did. No, he didn't. She jumped in the car and just hauled butt. And I'm thinking, I'll meet you at the hospital. So we're in the small town of Redoso, bro. We were probably a good 10 minutes from the hospital, maybe less. But she hauled butt. And I know, I already know, I come to it. I calm down a little bit, bro. And I go get the box of Hemophilia, the factor. The whole box with me, man. I throw it in my car, and I haul butt to the hospital, man. And it was crazy, bro. And I'm trying to leave, and I feel this bump again, right? And I kid you not, bro, and to this day, my son was underneath trying to get the soccer ball, right? I don't know, and I'm going to tell you this, for some reason, bro, what saved my son's life, and this is another moment that me and my ex have thought about, that it was her dad watching over my son, because when I was backing up the car, bro, so picture the rear tire and the mud flap, right? There's a little space between the mud flap and the tire. There's a little bit of a gap. The soccer ball that he was underneath my car trying to get, it got stuck. And it got stuck in that spot, bro. I can't explain it, and I don't know how the ball got there, but the ball got there, bro. And it stopped the car from me. It stopped me from rolling backwards, and I would have killed my son. I would have killed him, bro, because my car was lowered, he was underneath. I would have smashed. It's
man.
Sorry, bro. I just got my anxiety. Just talking about it, my anxiety is coming up. Oh, sorry.
Man, you're good, brother.
It was again, man. Here we go through this trauma. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I can imagine that pain that you were going through.
So I was so traumatized, hurt, and said more at myself than anybody in the world. He didn't pass away, but I hurt him so bad, bro. I should have paid attention as a father. I should have made sure he was away from the vehicle. I messed up on that part. I messed up, man. And I really thought I was going to get in trouble. Cops came to the hospital, and it was a shit show at the hospital.
Really?
How'd that ball get there? I don't know. physically impossible, bro. He was underneath trying to get it. And where he was at in the position where I got him from underneath the car where the ball was at, somehow the ball ended up being behind the tire in the mud flap and it got stuck there, bro. So it wouldn't allow the car to roll out.
Yeah.
So we talk about it. And my ex said it was her dad.
Was your wife or was your, I guess, was your fiance at the time? Was she, or girlfriend, was she upset with you over all that? Did that take a toll on your relationship?
Yeah, most likely, bro. She was mad. She was, we were already going through some things, you know, we were already having our issues and, me drinking. I ended up drinking after the hospital, bro. I ended up buying.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do to take away my pain. I went to a store, bro, and I bought me a 12-pack of some beer, Blue Moon. Blue Moon was my go. And I drank, bro. I got pretty, I got drunk.
So you were just going through a season where you're trying to numb the pain?
Oh yeah, man. That's the only thing that helped was the alcohol, man. That's the only thing that really helped. Like I know it helped me. And the alcohol was my I called it my medicine, bro. It was like, it's your factor for your bleeding disorder, but alcohol to me was my medicine. It helped me keep me sane. And don't get me wrong, bro. I wasn't a falling down drunk. You know, I still had my business to run, and a lot of people didn't understand that I had a problem. Everybody around me that's close to me, they would always tell me, you drink too much. I'll be like, you're full of crap. Mind your business. You know, hey, stop drinking. I forget you, bro. Don't worry about me. I'm good. You know, I always woke up. I went to work. I was a functional drunk. I was really functional. But everybody in my town, bro, nobody really knew I drank unless you were close in my circle. Like at the time I had my car club, you know, I had my Fresh Boys car club, and they knew I drank because we all drank together, but it wasn't like a known thing where you'll catch me at a bar or you'll never, ever. But the drinking was, that's all it helped me, bro. That's it. I couldn't escape it, bro. I couldn't stop. I had to have my beer. I had to. It's like, it was a must, bro, because don't get me wrong, I would try to stop a little bit, but I couldn't, man. Like, I felt this crazy anxiety, like this crazy, I couldn't.
So if you weren't drinking, then all of a sudden it was just, the anxiety was too powerful.
Bro, it was bad. I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia, bro. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep, you know?
Was it like a lot of thoughts too? Like a lot of negative thoughts that were kind of getting into your head and just all of it too much to handle?
I was always negative, bro. And it sucks because I'm not really a negative guy. I was always that negative, but because I was going through it, you know, my mindset was just F you, F you, F you. I don't care. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
I don't need you. I don't need you. You know what I mean? Like everything I did, I was so prideful, bro. But I always thought that I was in a better road than anybody because I worked my butt off. You know what I mean? I worked my butt off. I worked my butt off. So you're nobody to tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? I had mind.
Yeah.
But
so what was the breaking point for you? The moment you realized that something had to change?
Oh man, me and Angela, me and my ex was, I ended up getting in trouble. 2020, beginning of November in 2020, bro. Like me and her were already, you know, we were just at each other's throat, bro, you know, and, my drinking got heavier. COVID happened and that just threw me off, bro. I had to close my business. I lost my business, my livelihood. I went back to my career, which was the restaurant bar industry, you know, and that wasn't the best career to have when COVID was going through, you know, I couldn't make money. No restaurants were open, but I had to work. I had to do something, man. And it just wasn't enough, bro. So everything I really made, I started drinking triple what I would drink before that.
Yeah.
And bro, I ended up getting so my kids had online classes. So one time, what happened, I was in my garage and working on my race car, the Hemophilia awareness race car I had. I was working on it in my garage and I ended up falling asleep in there. Me and her, I don't want to go in the house. You know, we're already we're fighting. I wake up in the morning, bro, my kids are gone. Like she took the kids to work and I'm mad as hell. Like, what the hell? Why? Well, I didn't know. I thought you left and didn't come home, which I was in the garage. She didn't know. Well, dude, this is like at 9 a.m. And I opened up a fridge, bro, and I had like 3-4 beers in there. And I said, hey, no one's home. The kids ain't home. Hey, let me just drink a beer. Why not?
Yeah.
That one beer, bro, that decision, that moment, I didn't know it was going to come into a disaster, bro. I ended up drinking that whole entire day. My my anger took control. I didn't give it. I was in the I don't care mode, bro. And sure enough, bro, I ended up drinking. I ran out. I get ready. I go to the store. I buy another 12 pack, come back home. I finished that 12 pack. Bro, I think by the time I got in trouble, I was so drunk. I was so drunk driving through my little town, bro. And I ended up going to Taco Bell. I remember driving, visiting some friends at the time. I kind of don't remember, but I go to Taco Bell. And at the time, my car that I was driving, it's a JDM car. So my steering wheel is on the right side. You know what I mean? So when I go to the drive, when you go to the drive through, I have to get out and come out because it doesn't read. And I guess somebody in the lane, somebody behind me called the cops on me, and everybody knows me, bro. Everybody knows me because I'm a comedian now. I'm a coach. Somebody called the cops and stuff, man. The cop is supposedly waiting somewhere, and he saw me get in my car, and he just waited, he waited for me to hit the road. And sure enough, as soon as I got on the road, he got behind me, pulled me over, and I'm hammered drunk, bro, eating a taco from Taco Bell. I was sick, bro. My journey started from there, and I ended up getting a DW. I got in trouble for DWI. But it didn't stop there, bro. That was the beginning of November. Well, I ended up getting 4 DWIs in that same month, bro. Not one, not two.
Kidding.
I got 4, brother. I got 4.
That's wild.
I got 4 in the same month, man. And that just tells you. And
you have to do some time for that?
Actually, May 9th, this past May 9th, would be a year that I got out of prison. I went to jail for a year.
Okay.
I got I'm on my probation still and all that, but it took a while to fix, 5 years, it took 5 years, but those 4 DWIs that I got, I tell people it gives you it gives you where my mental health was at, how messed up I was, how flipped I was, man, mentally. I wasn't there, bro. I didn't care about my kids. I didn't care about my fiance. I didn't care about anyone. I didn't even care about me, LA. I got to that breaking point. I lost my faith. I was a walking cause. I just didn't care, bro. I didn't care. And the alcohol it was the only thing I cared about. That extra shot, that bottle.
So, I mean, obviously something changed for you. I mean, the man that I saw and at the Hope event, I mean, you offer this very positive vibe, this amazing energy. I see what you're trying to do in the community, and it's amazing. What helped you start this healing process? What played a big role into that, or what did that healing process look like?
There was a night, bro, where I didn't care enough, bro. Like you were explaining earlier, when you're a kid, you hit your head a lot, think you would die. One night, bro, I put the gun to my head, man, and it was night, it was cold, and I remember I was drunk, and when I just wanted to end my pain, bro. This pain in my chest, I just could never get away, no matter what I did. I tried to stop drinking multiple times, and I couldn't, bro. To this day, I was homeless. I was broke. I mean, I had a job, but it wasn't enough. I was in a bad spot, bro. I was in a hole, and this depression was just taking over, man. I didn't know how bad it was. And then when I put the gun to my head and I pulled the trigger, man, and it just clicked. It didn't go off. It was the most cowardice moment of my life, bro. I was broken, man. I was hurt because I was alone. I always felt like I did so much for so many people, and I thought somebody would help me out. When I was at rock bottom, I thought somebody was gonna come save me, bro. I thought somebody was gonna come help me out and give me a hand up, but nobody came. I had my little brother Eddie. He was one of the few that actually tried to help me, man. My little brother did try to help me after this happened, but when I pulled that trigger, LA, it didn't go off. I pointed at this tree, bro, this big pine tree about 20 feet away, and boom, gun went off, and I was like, oh my God. I felt this warmth feeling in my neck, and my faith I felt this warmness, and I knew what it was. It was in my time, and that night I had to decide, bro, that's it. I've never been a punk. I never turned around. I never ran from a fight. And what I did that moment, bro, now that I know, I decided to do something. And I said, this is it. I got to change my life. I got to change my ways for not for anybody else. I had to do it for me, bro. This alcohol was just too much. And sure enough, man, I reached out to some friends, and the lady was a therapist, and I called her 3 a.m. crying, and she answered, bro. Her name's Pam Tomlin. That old lady. Come to my office early in the morning, and I went. and my journey started. And don't get me wrong, I fell a couple times. I fell short of the hands of glory of
Yeah.
God. I fell off. I didn't be as sober as I am today. It didn't happen overnight, bro.
Yeah.
And that healing process started, and and I still heal every day.
Mhm.
It's been a battle. It's been an amazing journey, bro. And like you said, the man you saw at Hope, bro. Like a lot of people don't know this Heber anymore. They don't know me. Like guys from my family, God took people out of my life for a reason, like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but just because we have the same blood, I've learned, that makes us related. You know what I mean? I got men in my life, people in my life that are not my same blood, but they are my brother. They are my brothers. Bro, they have been there for me more than anyone in my whole entire life, so-called family have ever been there for me, bro. And I thank God for that, because God put these people in my life for a reason, for a fact. The time when I was in trouble, bro, I stepped away from the hemophilia community. I had to, bro. I was in no shape at all to be an advocate for anybody in hemophilia. I couldn't, bro. I couldn't be the man I am today. And advocating is the key. Advocating is very important in this community. But the healing process started.
I mean, I feel like, you had me thinking about my past and stuff as well. And I feel like those demons, they will never truly go away. And I think, it's an ongoing battle. And I think we learn how to develop new behaviors to where we can suppress those demons from coming out. And we surround ourselves around the right people. We put ourselves in the right environment to where that just, we keep that where it needs to be.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, bro. Those demons will always haunt us, man. And they will come no matter what. But that's when we have
daily battle,
baby. Exactly. Amen to that.
Yeah.
We just got to keep fighting,
absolutely. Bro. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I protect my energy. I protect my peace. I mean, I'm all about being around people who add to that battery, and they don't deplete that battery that you have, that internal battery. And, you have to be that person as well. You got to be an energy giver too, not an energy taker. And, the second that I find someone like that in my life, it's not even a second thought. It's just like, nope, you're gone. You're gone. You go over here to this side, and my circle is very, very small. But yeah, man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of where you're at right now. And I know the best is yet to come.
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. Like, I'm proud of you too, bro. Like, I'm telling you, for some reason, I think this
Thank
is why,
you, man.
I think this is for a reason. Like, me and you, I always liked you, bro. I've always been a fan, bro. And I think it's because we kind of been through it and understand it. Because not many people can hit rock bottom, bro. Like, they don't understand what rock bottom is. And when I mean rock bottom, LA, I was staying in the car. I didn't have nowhere to go, bro. I was homeless.
Yeah.
Coming from having everything, a home, a family, kids, a community, being a community man, a coach. I mean, having all this, and then all of a sudden, man, is just, how in the hell did I get myself here? How in the hell, I wasn't eating for a few days, bro. I was struggling so bad, kind of like the book of Job, man, in the Bible. I was living it, man. And I was, okay, God. And I just had to find him, bro. And I did. And made him my Lord and my Savior. And then, bro, my life started changing. It started getting there. And I started doing my process. My legal stuff started happening, taking care of the 4 DWIs. And a lot of people tripped out on that, bro. They're like, you got 4 in 1 month. And I met this guy in jail, bro. He was like 50 something, almost 60 now. He's like, oh, I got 5 and I'm 60 something years old, and you got 4 in 1 month. And he's kind of making fun of me like, damn, you're an idiot. And I was like, yeah, I was an idiot. I'm dumb. But I think my journey of sobriety, like when I did my jail sentence, bro, I was in there for 6 months, and then I got out, finished my paperwork and stuff. And I got sentenced a year. So I had to go back, and finish my sentence. And I think that's where I got stronger, and I got to be in jail, and I used my time in there, bro. I got to meet a lot of people. Like, my testimony, I use it. Like, I work in a bar, and you work at a bar, and you're what? Sober? Like, people trip out, but there are some times I do get a man or a woman, and they asked it, and once they get intrigued of sobriety and they start asking questions, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? Like, how'd you feel? Like, man, this is the most, like you said, you have your peace, bro. That I sleep good at night, bro. I sleep so good. I have my peace. I never had that in my life, bro. And
I mean, I love that you're just being so raw and vulnerable. You know, I started telling my story about 10 years ago on social media, and I started to realize that, you know, like once I got into the industry a little bit and started working in the industry, I kind of became limited to telling my genuine, true story. You know, I feel like everyone wants to hide behind some kind of facade of that they're, you know, you have to look a certain way and be a certain way. And the second that I started to tell any rawness and realness would, um, and I would get some kind of backlash. You know, I was working for different pharmacies in the past, and I would talk about pain. I remember one time I was talking about pain pills and how I was suffering from pain, and I was just reliant on these pain pills. And then people from the community would contact my work, and they would say, you know, oh, look at this guy. He's a bad example. You know, he's talking about pain pills and being addicted to it. I don't know. It's just weird. I think we're in different times now where it's kind of, we're all like more free thinking now. We kind of know that, you know, most people have some kind of skeleton in their closet of some sort.
Yes.
I don't know. Just where I'm at in my life, I'm just not scared, man. I position myself, and my goal is always to build my own platform to where I don't care. I don't care if this company doesn't support me or that person doesn't support me. Like I just want to tell the truth, because when you do that and you open yourself up, you reach so many more people.
Exactly.
And that, like, you know, like you have a powerful testimony now. And the fact that you've been so real on this podcast, this is going to probably be the most impactful podcast that I've done yet, just because you allowed yourself to open up like that. So I appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome, bro. You just, you know, I know it's not just, we're not the only ones that suffered through this. You know, me as a father, I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Like you just said, like they support you or not. I'm the same way. Like when I got one time at a Hope conference, I think it was in Louisiana. Yeah, it was in Louisiana at New Orleans. I got to talk about the race car, the Hemophilia race car I built to race, and they would ask me why. Well, if my son couldn't play contact sports, I'm into cars and you know, racing, and so I did that to help out, maybe reach out another kid with hemophilia that might want to be a race car driver, or learn how to be a mechanic, or how to learn how to paint a car, or anything to do with the car. That was me. And It's crazy, bro, because when I was talking to that conference, it was like 400 people. My first time ever like being in front of people. And I'm not a shy guy, man. But out of everybody left to go eat dinner, bro, I was by myself eating, and there was this man. His name's Bartman from Florida. I don't know if you've met him or not. He actually races. He has mini trucks. He races the mini trucks out there.
Oh,
and
nice.
He waited for me, bro. And I was like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey, man, I want to say thank you." He told me, and I was like, "What'd I do?" He's like, "Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for being a voice and me hearing you to do something to help out my son." And his son was a hemophilia, but I think it was hemophilia A. And bro, it just takes that one person we reach, LA, that one man, father, bro. I didn't expect that to happen. And to this day, like we talk once in a while on Facebook, and dude, it made me feel so good, because if I wouldn't have said nothing, I would never got to meet you, man. If you would have not done what you 10 years ago, if you would have not done that, I wouldn't know who you are. You know what I mean? So important for us to.
Yeah, man. Putting myself out there has been really scary. But I've been so resilient, and I don't know how I've kept on getting back up, but I have, you know, even I would say 2 years ago now, I was chosen to have a documentary shot of my life and bodybuilding and my journey to the stage. And it was a company called Believe Limited. I don't know if you know, like Patrick James Lynch, his company. And then I think Sanofi was the sponsor, but they saw me, they saw my story, and they told me that they're going to have a documentary shot. And I was so excited. I was like, man, all the hard work, everything I've ever done, like this is my huge opportunity to finally tell my story on the biggest platform. You know, this would have been right after the Bombardier documentary where he climbed the mountains.
Sure.
And so, the camera crew, they, you know, over a 3-month period of time, they shot some footage of me. They flew out to Vegas to have me compete. And then the documentary was going to be called Elite Athletes, or something like that, Elite Athletes with Hemophilia.
Yes.
And they had trailers already made. And I was on social media just posting all about it. Like, man, I can't wait. And, you know, anything you start doing, you know, I guess there's haters out there. There's people out there who which is really, really sad, but they will go the extra mile to figure out how they can stop something from happening. And, I ended up getting a call one day from Patrick himself, and he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I can't give you much details, but something happened." They kind of, I don't know if it was a single person, a group of people said, "Hey, they looked into your past and they don't think that you would be a good leader for our community." And so they basically rebranded the entire documentary, and they said, "We're taking all of your footage out. Your story is no longer going to be told."
Wow.
And I remember I was crushed for a while, and I was just like, I'm trying so hard to be something, to leave, to impact, to just be myself. And it's just like, I'm just not accepted. Like, I'm not accepted for what I'm trying to do. And I took a long time kind of off. I stopped telling my story, but I knew I wasn't done yet. I just had to keep my head down and and try to pivot. And I did. And, I'm proud to say I'm here right now. I've got the podcast going. I've got the new book. I feel like I'm growing even bigger, and it's giving me more of an opportunity to share a message. And, I have to look at that time as just another time of adversity where I could have, it's not what happens to you, but it's how you respond to what happens to you that defines who you are as a man. And I just kept on telling myself that. And I was like, I'm super proud, man. I got to be proud of myself. And I think, a lot of times we need to take some time to celebrate some of our successes. Sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves, but I'm not done yet. My story's not over. God, there's this song. It's like, God's not done with you. And I would just listen to that song, and I'm just like, yeah, God's not done. My story's not over. And I just built my faith. Yeah, man, God is good. That's all I'm going to say. God is good. And we all have a story. We all have a mission. We all have a purpose, and you have to trust it even through the failures. So I'm proud of you, man. I love your mission, and we're not done yet, man. God's not done.
No, and that's why
He's got more for us.
Thank you for that. It just shows to what you've gone through, and having that crush to tell your story, bro. That would have crushed me. I would have been hurt too, man. But you didn't quit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they told me this is the first. You're the very first person that I have told. Wow. I remember they told me when you're hurt like that, you want to just tell people. I wanted to blast them on social media. I was hurt, and they told me, though, hey, we would appreciate you if you just don't tell anybody about this.
Wow.
I've been waiting for a time to say it, and I just figured right now with you was the right time to talk about it. I mean, I don't really want to blow it up or magnify it, but
raw, baby, we doing this raw.
Yeah, but you know what? It's time to let it out. It felt good. Just let it out, though.
There you go. And I'm glad you did, bro. That'll just show.
Well, listen, we're at about an hour and a half, so I appreciate your time. To every father listening, your pain is valid, your strength is sacred, and your voice matters. Heber, thank you for showing us that vulnerability is not a weakness, and it's a power. This is one of the realest conversations we've had. If it hit home, share it with another dad who needs to hear it. And don't forget, guys, new episodes drop every week on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Tap the link in the bio and stick with purpose. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me on, bro. I love you, man. God bless, and wish you the best.
Yeah, love you too, brother. Take it easy. Have a good night, sir.
God bless, brother.